Working in family engagement is complicated. It's often difficult. It can be highly rewarding, but we also need to take care of the people doing the work so they can take care of the families. And I heard a quote that I like very much. If we care about children's success, we will take good care of their families. And I know that's the work you're in, so we like to come to Friday Cafe and take good care of you too. So to get us going, we're going to try something a little bit different. So remember, we're a safe lab. Okay, you with me? So we're going to try something we've never done before, but we're in excellent hands. So I want to introduce Allison Carbello from FCA, who's going to tell us about this wonderful space, and then we're going to do a little icebreaker with Allison and her colleagues.
Thank you. Thanks, Judy. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Friday Cafe at FCA. We're very excited to be able to host this for all of you. The stars kind of aligned to bring us all together. So Family and Children's Aid, we really are our own best kept secret. So to have the opportunity to have educators here who are communicating with families and children who might need services that we provide is really crucial. So thank you for being here. Family and Children's Aid has about 24 programs, and we're serving over 100 cities and towns across Connecticut. So we have 7 physical locations. We're in Danbury, Waterbury, New Milford, New Britain, Torrington, Shelton, and Bridgeport. And our in-home programs like ICAPS and Child First are reaching, way beyond where our physical locations are. So this is our Danbury campus, which is our largest campus, and we have 15 buildings here. You are in our Child Guidance Center. So this particular room is our Life is Good Playmakers Village. So a playmaker is someone who is trained to help a child heal through the power of play at a crucial moment in their life. So we have this whole village set up for play therapy. And all of these rooms around here are for breakout therapy sessions. So we have a corn pit over there where kids can jump in the corn and throw it around. Our staff do as well. We have a Lego room over there. And all the Legos in the rooms are donated through drives from schools, individuals who don't need them anymore. And the kids can then take Legos home with them. We also have a basketball court in the back corner. And this room here is our history room, which charts our history going back to 1809. So Family and Children's Aid has been around a long time, and we keep evolving and growing in a purposeful way to meet the needs of our communities. So we have outpatient programs, such as this guidance center. We have another child guidance center like this in Waterbury, and we are building this facility there. So in the next year or so, we're hoping that will be completed. And we have another child guidance center in New Milford as well. We have an adolescent outpatient substance abuse program. We have extended day treatment after school, and we also offer professional development training for schools. We've been doing some, we call it Project Joy. We've been doing some playmaker type training with extended day treatments in the Department of Children and Family Services. So just something for you all to know. We can do that. We also have a subway station downstairs here, which if you are interested in seeing it after this is over, we're happy to give you some tours. Right downstairs, the subway houses stores that are filled with donated items, and we use those as incentives to get kids and their families to come to therapy. So in trying to engage those families, we offer some basic need items, like a seasonal room with coats and warm items, clothes, blankets, and not only can the child who's getting therapy take it, a sibling can as well. So then they're excited. We want to come with you. We also have, sporting goods, which gets kids outside and moving away from screens. We have art supply store where they can take different things to be creative. And then we have an art studio that backs that up with a program called Peace Love. So we have the play up here, and then downstairs we have a program all about creating peace of mind. So I could literally talk to you all day about our programs, but I won't because I know we have a big agenda. And I want to introduce my team who's here, who's going to show you some, actually we're going to do one activity with you just to, warm you up. So in the back we have Robin Hoffman. Hey Robin. Robin is our APRN here. Kevin Baird, who is the coordinator of our boys group home. And then Roger Chapuis, who's our IT director. And IT means it, so anything. But Kevin is going to take over and start this program.
So what we're going to do today is, I'm sure I saw a lot of people welcoming each other, but sometimes we don't get to actually connect. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in a circle. I'm going to go first, and I'm going to go this way, and as I go, this young lady will follow me, and we're just going to loop around, and we're going to give fist bumps. Everybody know what a fist bump is, right? Make sure that we receive the fist bump, otherwise it is a punch, right? So we're going to go around, and then we're going to end up where we started after we greet everybody with Sabona, all right?
So moving on, so talking about community. So I'm very pleased to welcome our colleagues from New York Hall of Science and to learn more about the Neighbors Network. So this is a community-led ecosystem, and you're going to hear more about what that means, linking families, students, and educators through STEM. And we're going to have a chance to find out more about the New York Hall of Science, the work they do, and the more I've learned about this, any community that has a community partner that is offering resources in science, but also in other disciplines as well, arts, humanities. We can think about building bridges with that community partner in a way that makes these kinds of connections. And many times we hear these community agencies saying, we would love to work with schools and families. We're not quite sure how to go about doing that. So I think this is a blueprint for things that we can take back and think more about in Connecticut. So let me introduce Andrés Henríquez and Marcia Bueno and Sonia Bueno to take us on our journey to the New York Hall of Science and the Neighbors Network.
Thank you very much. Okay, super. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay, Sabono? Okay. This is a really beautiful space. Are we good? Okay. This is a really beautiful space, and I just wanted to thank the Family and Children's Aid group for hosting us today. And I mean, we work in a museum in New York City. How many of you have heard of the New York Hall of Science? Raise your hand. Excellent, check plus. How many of you have been to the New York Hall of Science? Even better, but it's the same people. We need more people to contact. So I wanted to say that this space is so beautiful, and had my therapist's office in New York City looked like this, I would have never left therapy, right? And it's just like, this is exactly what you want it to be. But the New York Hall of Science, we're in Queens, in Corona, where the original New York City World's Fair was in 1964. And our museum is a leftover part of that 1964 World Series. I could only hope. World's Fair. It's been around for about 54 years. We get about 500,000 visitors a year, many school children from across New York City and the tri-state area. One of the things that we believe in is something called design, make, play, which is very embedded right here. And the way we like to think about it is design are the kinds of things that are problems worth solving, right? And make, so you're using like your hands and you're using real tools to actually do those kinds of things. And then play. We really believe in play, which is the intrinsic motivation to do anything. So that design, make, play philosophy is embedded in everything we do. Let's see, I think there's a clicker for me here. Is it this one? Here, wait, got it. All right. So we're going to talk to you this morning about our program called NYSCI Neighbors. New York Hall of Science is also known as NYSCI, so pardon our abbreviation. So what is our mission? Our mission is to build a deep and long-term relationship with our community, our local community, to co-create science, technology, engineering, and mathematics opportunities that are essential and relevant and responsive. And the idea we talked about this is a couple things. One is that, as many of you know, science, technology, engineering, and math, or STEM, is a really big part of our society now as we have moved from an agrarian to an industrial to a knowledge-based economy. STEM is the kind of jobs that we see our future. And the other thing is that, as many of you might know, is that STEM is not an area or a domain that is very diverse. And so we thought of ourselves as a museum, as a science museum, that our responsibility to STEM is to both not only teach science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, but to ensure that diversity within that domain is actually really real. Our vision is a community that engages and discovers and plays together while learning and exploring in everyday life, okay? And we value our community and our multi-generational approach. Judy talked about two-generation approach. We talk about it as multi-generation because we have both parents and grandparents and extended families as well. And we want to make sure that learning is taking place and that curiosity is always a part of that formula, as well as fun and collaboration. Our principles are right there. Really want to understand our community. We want to build relationship and trust. I think as an institution that's been around for 54 years, and our community has changed enormously demographically in the last 50 years because we are New York City, and Queens, New York is a hub for lots of newcomers coming through. Building trust and relationship is really, really critical. It's also, I always like to say also that our museum, while it's really beautiful, has two really big rockets outside. And for newcomers and who are new to our community, it looks a little bit intimidating because we look like a federal agency, although we are actually a museum and we welcome everyone, right? We want to be accessible and inclusive as we think about the work that we're doing with our community. And we want to foster an environment of collaboration. The kinds of things that we both give and take. We're not only doing things to our community or for our community, we really want to hear from them and really co-design and co-create the kind of work that we do. And we want to maintain that open and consistent communication. And you'll hear both from Marcia and Sonia how we do that. And we have an ongoing piece in terms of reflection. How are we doing? How are we doing it well? What's not working? How can we fix what's not working? So that's sort of that cycle of improvement science is always part of what we hope to do. I'll show you a little video that is going to explain a little bit more about what we do.
estar más juntos para aprender muchas cosas importantes program open a new era, I would say, not only in our school, but in our community. It's not every day that you have the opportunity to have the museum open its doors and all that they have to provide for everybody just to come and enjoy. It's not about how old you are or where you're coming from or what language do you speak. For my school, the response has been really terrific. Parents have signed up by hundreds for the children to come after school to keep learning and see in action what they learn in the museum.
The fact that we can open up young people's minds to creative opportunities in science and technology and engineering and math it's what we're all about. We want young people to feel a sense of their own power and creativity.
Science ambassadors allows NYSCI to kind of take a holistic approach to community development. I think for us, they really highlight our idea around unlocking scientific thinking in such a powerful way. One of our major focus areas are communities that have kind of been left out by traditional modes of science engagement. And I think NYSCI is earning their trust and establishing themselves as an important and vital part of the community that they're in. They do that better than anyone.
We just come to their faces every single day. We create like a special bond between us two, and we learn so much from them, and they learn so much from us. I feel like, especially parents would tell us, thank you so much. I don't think my child could have done this on their own.
Having the team from NYSCI work with our teachers, we've grown, supporting our families and our scholars with their needs, taking advantage again of all these great trips, workshops, collaborating on STEM support, and so many years down the line, I think that our families can say the Hall of Science is a second home. We're really blessed and very lucky to have this amazing institution right here in Cologne.
Thank you for having us once again. My name is Marcia Bueno. I'm the director of NYSCI Neighbors. So what we just saw is just a quick video, thank you, just to highlight our program. It highlights different aspects of our program. So you might have heard the term science ambassadors, parent ambassadors. So those are all different programs that lie within our NYSCI Neighbors initiative, which is what we call all of our community work. So one of our principles was to get to know the community. So right here we have a picture of Corona, Queens. This is Corona Plaza. I love this picture because it really represents our community. This is one of the major hubs of Corona. Just in this little, 1 to 2 square radius of this neighborhood, you can see the diversity of the neighborhood itself. As Andrés mentioned, there's been a lot of changes in our community, but we still have a very high number of immigrant families that are predominantly Hispanic and Latinos, as well as a growing immigrant families of the Asian community. So just here, I know it's a little hard to see, but I live in Corona as well, so I actually have grown up in the neighborhood since I was 10 years old, so I know this area very, very well, and I can let you know that just walking in this little square, you'll see Ecuadorian restaurants, you'll see Mexican restaurants, you'll see Colombian restaurants, maybe Dominican restaurants, so there's very, very diverse diversity within the Latino community as well. This is also one of our main subway stations. The only train station that runs through Corona is the 7 line, so this is really where everybody hops on to get on the train. A block away from this plaza, we have our local library, the Corona branch, which is one of the most attended libraries in Queens. So just in this little radius of a few miles, you can see the diversity and just how vibrant and diverse our community is. So I definitely wanted to share this picture and just some background about our community and what you can find here. So in the video, we mentioned that we work with 19 schools. I believe Andrés said that in the video. So here's a map of the 19 schools. The red dots represent the 19 schools that lie within District 24, which serves Corona. And we also have expanded a little bit out to Elmhurst, New York, which is our neighborhood. So I think number 15 and 16, if you can see kind of on the left hand, are the Elmhurst schools. The purple dots represent the families that have signed up for our programs. So you can see the density of the families that live within our neighborhood that are participating in our programs. With these schools, we have partnered with the parent coordinators, the community liaisons, really working with them to recruit for our programs, to share with them opportunities that their families can partake. I would say all of our programs are free for any of the students that are in these schools. So we do take into account, like, so what are some of the barriers of participation that some of our families might have. So we try to offer different types of programs, different times, different levels of engagement that are required. Some might be one day, some might be like a 10-week camp. So we definitely try to be as diverse as possible with the amount of programs and commitments that we're asking for our families. In the video, you also saw that we have within our museum a collaboration with other departments. So we do work with our education services department, we work with our makerspace, we work with our design lab to really support all of our initiatives. So we're working alongside our own organization to create opportunities for our families. Also keeping in mind that most of our families are bilingual, with many of the parents just speaking Spanish and some of the kids as well just speaking Spanish. We try to have as many Spanish-speaking employees or museum staff on the museum floor during after-school hours as well. So, now that I talk a lot about our program overall, we do have 3 main goals. One of our goals is to provide access to creative STEM learning. So that's in the ways of our programs, in the ways of the activities that we do, utilizing our museum floor, collaborating with other departments, and really thinking about what we can build to showcase STEM learning to our families. We also, one of our other goals is family engagement and parent empowerment. So we're not only working with the students and the kids in the schools, we're also bringing in the families and multi-generational, again, to just emphasize that we just don't have parents sometimes, we have aunts, we have older brothers, older sisters, we have grandparents. So it's really like anyone that's in the family household usually joins for some of these programs. Oops, sorry. And our third goal is to create academic and career awareness. So in our programs is what we try to embed. How do you then translate what you're doing in the museum and in these programs to leverage STEM educational opportunities? And so we might add a little bit about how these relates to different STEM programs, STEM careers as their children are growing and going into high school, going into college. What are some of the opportunities that they might want to explore? So in holding true to our museum, because we are a hands-on science center, we wanted to take you through one of the activities that we do with our families. So I'm going to pass this over to Sonia, who's going to take over and lead the activity.
Thank you. Hello, good morning. Good morning. The most important person was missing from that video, and that was me. Just kidding. No. I am the person that actually takes all these goals and initiatives and puts them into practice. I am, right now I'm calling myself the manager of community programs, just because our programs has grown a lot. So we put a lot of these programmatic stuff into play, and I do these activities with the students and the parents, but my main focus is parent engagement or parent empowerment. So in New York City, there's a big push of going away from using that word engagement and actually using the word empowerment, because we do want to make sure the parents take an active role in their students' learning and education. So my big push is parents, abuelitas, abuelitos, anyone in the different diverse family structures can be educators and can be learners for their children. So we're going to do an activity that's part of our Parent Ambassador program, or Padres Embajadores, which you saw a grandma in the video. She's wearing a purple shirt. I'll talk a little bit about the program and then we'll dive into this activity. So Parent Ambassadors is a 8 to 10 week session, depending on the time we have within the fiscal year, that we just basically encourage parents to join with their kids. We don't have a limitation in age for the kids, because I know we have some families who have 8-month-olds, some families that have 4th graders, so they always go, what if I only can bring ages 8 to 10, what am I going to do with the little one, or what am I going to do with my other child? So we invite any children to join their families, and it has worked really wonderful. The purpose is to introduce nice science exhibit and programs to our families. A lot of our families have been to NYSCI before. I asked them, they're like, yeah, I come all the time. But while we do these in-depth activities with them, they go, I didn't know that you could learn about the water cycle. I didn't know that you could learn about system and balance. I've never engaged in these activities myself. So a lot of the parents bring their kids, let their kids explore, and take a passive back seat, you know, not thinking these activities are for that. So we're encouraging them to be comfortable with the space, comfortable with activities, and also learn together with their children. And that's one of the big payouts that we have from this program. A lot of our family goes, I love having this 1 hour a week where my kids put their phones away and put their tablets away and spend time with us. So it's been very wonderful. We want to do one activity with you guys. Andrés and Marcia are putting out some blocks for you, and I will walk you through an activity that we do. While we do this activity, just keep in mind those 3 goals that Marcia showed that are the goals of our NYSCI Neighbor work. And we're going to reflect, just like I reflect with our parent ambassadors after we do this activity, of what stayed with you. I don't really use what did you learn, but what reflected with you, what is something interesting that you grabbed, how can you connect that to whatever experience you had, whatever connection, anything you have. And I'll walk you through the reflection process that we do with our parents. So with your table, build a structure using only 12 blocks. So you only have 12 blocks, and all I'm going to tell you is you make a structure using these 12 blocks. Well, no, that's just a picture. You don't have to worry about that. So I didn't even want to put a picture, but just in case. So any structure. There's structure, or there's a specific goal, there's a specific task in mind, but we're doing innovative learning, we're doing hands-on interactive learning, and the purpose is for the parents and the children to engage and converse together. So that is why we left it very open, because we're going to see, if you just look around right now, you can see how diverse all these structures are. Okay, so now we're going to go into challenge 2, and then at the end of this, we'll talk more in depth about this. So with your table, you're going to build a structure that is at least 2 feet tall, and we put it in inches and centimeters just in case anyone uses other kinds of measurement units. We have the blocks over here, so you guys can send a representative of your group to come and grab the blocks, just how we do in our program.
Like this.
This one was like, I need to reach that challenge, so even if it's unsteady and it works, I'm going to do it. This one over here, from what I've noticed, is very focused on the design. I want to build something with a steadier base, steadier structure. The more blocks, the better. So we have different design process of which in each group. That's great. So this is what we talk about. Is there a building that you see around here that you think will be the best building that you want to turn it into a condo and live there? Wonderful. Very symmetrical, so I love it. I love the design.
I can see the balconies on the end.
Yeah, the balconies, definitely. Perfect, I love it. And then over here, like, let me turn it to give it more height. So that's what it seemed like. They were trying to add more height, so it's becoming a little bit less sturdier on top, but they were trying to reach the height. Okay, thank you guys. Round of applause. We're gonna reflect. Just like when we do this, I usually reflect and we do a concept map with our families. And they don't know I'm doing a concept map. But I start after the second session, I start telling them what is a concept map. Because at the end, the goal is hopefully having them feel confident in order to fill out their own concept map. Sometimes it doesn't happen, but at least they know how to connect the stuff. This is the hardest lesson that we do with our families because just thinking about the design process is very tricky for them. When we focus on design, what they focus a lot on is what people design. So they're like jewelry, the walls, the windows, the cars. And I'm like, great, that's great, but I want you to focus on the design process. And it's a little tricky. While they're doing it, they engage with the design process and they know what it is, but when we reflect on it, that's a very abstract concept for them to do. But how do we connect this to academic or careers? So what I usually ask them is, well, have you seen this out in your neighborhood or in your hometown or in the city where you work? And say yes. And I always ask, well, how does it get there? Who puts that structure there? And they usually tell me the first profession is always construction workers. They go, albañiles, right? That's the thing in Spanish. And I'm like, great, yes, what is their purpose? They actually use the materials and they construct. And then we talk about, well, who does the design or who makes the blueprints for this? And that's how we start eliciting different careers and STEM from them. They start thinking about architects, they start thinking about electricians, plumbers, engineering, and then when we talk about engineering, we try to take a little bit step further and talk about the different fields of engineering as well. So it's very interesting, this one. I love this, one of my favorite sessions we do with them, just because they all have a different diverse background, and it's awesome to see the diversity that they have. So this is our parent ambassador work. These are pictures that we currently have from our current cohort. The one on the left is a makerspace. They are doing a puzzle. So they're actually using very art-focused stuff. And then the one on the right is in design lab where they were doing pinball machine. And that was a little tricky because they didn't know what a pinball was. They haven't seen one yet. So I had to take out my phone and take out the videos in order for them to get a reference of what exactly it is that we were asking them to do. So, and then after that, they did wonderful. So we have a connection between our exhibits, the classroom setting, and home. So a lot of our activities, we focus on using materials that they find in their everyday lives or that they can definitely just find in their house. So when we did Makerspace, I made sure I talked to Makerspace and say, I know sometimes you do very crazy different machinery. Let's focus on more hands-on machines that they might have at home. So when we did the puzzle, they use cardboard, and we use markers, and then they have this fancy cutter. But then we told them that there's regular cardboard cutters you can use at home, or you can use scissors if you don't have anything else. We also did one tape casting, which is awesome. You just take saran wrap, you wrap it around something, and you put tape over it, and then you make a cast. And the parents love that activity. Another one that was well received was, I can't even remember right now. Oh, there was one about shrinking plastic. Have you guys seen that activity? Where you take a plastic, you design it with a permanent marker, and then you take something really hot, hot air, and it shrinks? They love that activity. They're like, how can I do this at home? So we told them you can use a toaster or a very, very super powerful hair dryer. And so these are stuff that we wanted to continue doing at their homes. They might not have a resource, but they definitely have something at home that they can definitely keep this doing. Same thing with building. They might not have these blocks, but they might have other stuff that they can build with. We're doing data today. When I go back, I have to teach. We're doing data focused. So we're going to be doing measuring. So we're going to have the parents lay down on our butcher paper, and the kids are going to trace them, and then we're going to learn about measuring and how to record that data. So I hope you guys enjoyed this activity, kind of a focus on what we do for family engagement and parent empowerment at NYSCI. All right, thank you so much, and I hope you enjoyed the activity. And if you guys can help me put the blocks back into the bin, that would be wonderful. Thank you.